When Jesus Christ gave his life for you and me, the Bible describes him hanging on the cross, and it says the ninth hour of the day, which would have been about 3 o'clock in the afternoon. It said that he cried out with a loud voice, and he said, "It is finished." And it tells us in Scripture that at that moment, the veil in the temple was rent from top to bottom. Now, I want to tell you about that just for a moment, because the veil in the temple is what is talking about the Holy of Holies. And the Holy of Holies was cut off from the sight of anyone by this veil. It was a very heavy, thick veil, very high veil. And in the temple, behind that veil was the Ark of the Covenant and all sorts of things that represented the very presence of God. And no man ever went into that area except the high priest on the Day of Atonement to offer the sacrifice for the sins of the people. One day a year, he would go in, greatly consecrated for that event. And when he would go into the temple, into the Holy of Holies, he had a robe on that had bells all over it so you could hear him breathing, literally. He had a rope on his ankle because if he wasn't just right in the presence of God, he would be struck dead. And no man would dare go in and get him. They'd have to pull him out by the rope. And the Bible describes all this to us. But what happens is the fact that when you get to the book of Hebrews, and it talks about this veil that was rent, it actually says his body was the veil. And it was rent for us in the 10th chapter of Hebrews. It describes all this because you and I have access to the Holy of Holies. Can you imagine what it was like when that veil was rent and the priest and others were out there and all of a sudden they could look directly into something no one had ever seen before, the Holy of Holies? And that's how it describes the presence, the access to the presence of God that you and I have in the book of Hebrews. Because the book of Hebrews talks about the great high priest who's gone before us, Jesus, Son of God, who's gone into the heavens at the right hand of the Father. And because of this veil has been rent, and you and I, common people, have access directly to the throne of God through Jesus Christ. And when you come to the book of Hebrews, it talks about Jesus Christ, the great high priest. And it says, "For we do not have a high priest who's unable to sympathize with our weaknesses, but we have one in every respect who's been tempted as we are." In other words, Jesus Christ, when he was on this earth, faced every temptation you and I will ever face. He faced it all and he lived perfect without sin, it tells us. And he did this for us on this earth. And it tells us that because of this, this high priest understands and can sympathize with our needs, our weaknesses. Not just because he created us, but became one of us. And he walked with us. And he faced everything you and I will ever face in life. And this high priest is in the heavens before us. And it says this because he says, "In every respect has been tempted like we are, yet without sin. Let us therefore come with confidence, draw near to the throne of grace with confidence." Because we understand Jesus Christ understands us, we can go into his presence with confidence. We can go directly to God the Father through his Son, Jesus Christ, with confidence because he understands our problems. Some translation says he sympathizes with our weaknesses, or he understands our infirmities. You can go to God today and you can say, "Oh, Father, you know what I just found out?" And he does. "Oh, Father, you know how I feel?" And he does. "Oh, Father, you know what I'm facing?" And he does. He understands. He sympathizes with your problems. And then it says, because of that knowledge that we are taught through Scripture, we can go into his presence with confidence, with boldness. We can go in and express our hearts to him. In fact, that word, if you look it up, means unrestricted utterance. You can say things to God you would never say to someone else. But because he understands you, because he knows you, you can speak directly to him. And that's what that verse says. "Draw with confidence near the throne of grace, that we might receive grace and mercy to find in time of need." Oh, listen, do you face needs in life? Jesus Christ is the only one that truly understands. And we can go directly into the presence of his Father by his name, and we can seek help. And we can receive grace to help in time of our need. What a wonderful thought to think that tonight you can talk to God, and like no one else, he understands where you are. He understands what you're feeling, what you're experiencing, because he himself stood that for all of us. May God bless you as you approach his throne.